done to him. I'm not going to, because he's dying for the sins of the world, I need to feel the whole punishment for the sins. You need to know I suffered for this. And so he refused to take that. And verse 24 says, and when they had crucified him, they parted his garments, casting lots upon them, whatever man should take. Now, there was a scripture that's fulfilling also, but one gospel writer says that Jesus' overcoat was made of one piece of cloth that had no seams to it. And so because it was made of one piece of cloth, they didn't want to cut it up. They would rather take their chances. So casting lots could take different forms and different ways. There were some lots that had black and white, black on one side, white on the other, black on one side, white on the other. And when you threw them, if it was black and black, it meant one thing. If it meant white and white, it was another. If it was black and white, it meant something completely different. It was almost like throwing dice or drawing straws. So you can imagine putting in all black rocks and one white rock, and you reach in the bag, and if you pulled out the white rock, you got the garment. That was basically the way that casting lots was working. So they're casting lots for Jesus' garments. It was a way of getting a little bit extra. He's dying, so I'm just going to take what was his. Somebody has to have it. Let me go a couple more verses here. It says, and it was the 3rd hour, and they crucified him. Now, John's account says about the 6th hour, but it depends on your perspective on where you're looking at. The 3rd to the 6th hour would have been 9 o'clock in the morning till 12 noon. That was the second watch. From 9 to 12 was the second watch of the morning, of the day. And so it was all considered one time frame from 6 to 9. Was considered one. And so it depends on when you're starting this, when he's condemned to be crucified, when he's led carrying the cross, or when he's actually lifted up. So they're probably looking at different perspectives, knowing that they're all talking about the same time period here. And they crucified him, they lifted him up. So we know that by noon he was hanging on the cross. And the superscription of his accusation was written over the King of the Jews. So they put a sign above his head, and they did this with other prisoners, because you remember they hung on the cross, some of them for days, and in agony. And they wanted the people to see them suffer, and they wanted the people to know this is why they're suffering. This is their crime. You don't want to do what they did. This is what happens to people who do that. But the only thing is with Jesus that they put the King of the Jews. And two of the gospel writers say it was written in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. They want to make sure everybody understood. The Jews didn't like it because they didn't want a sign above him saying this is the King of the Jews. They wanted one saying this man said he was King of the Jews. And they didn't want to give Jesus any credit. At the same time, Pilate wanted them to know what they were doing. No, this is his crime. You're killing the King of the Jews. It has nothing to do with how you viewed him. It has to do with your religious beliefs. So they crucified him with that. We'll stop there. Are there any questions or comments before we close out?